Hey, good day, everybody. This is Etienne Marcel, producer of Sports Inquirer, and welcome to another edition of Fighting Peaches. Today, we're going to be hearing from Georgia State football head coach Dell McGee as the Panthers prepare to visit Vanderbilt in a non-conference contest this upcoming Saturday. And before we get to his thoughts, as always, to follow everything that we do, head to the mothership to sportsinquirer.net, premier site for news and notes in the world of sports. You can also go to our social media platforms on Twitter/X, Instagram, and Facebook. And finally, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our audio and video hosts, which include YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, and more. I was actually able to head down to Atlanta and attend the presser of head coach of the Panthers, Dell McGee. I was the lone outside media member there. Respects to the legendary Dave Cohen from Georgia State Broadcasting. He was there, and there was some staff members from Georgia State, but the usual crew of people that are there covering Georgia State from outside of the Georgia State family. Oh, they weren't there, so it was just me. So I got a one-on-one exclusive with Dell. But he touches on some several things, just quarterback competition, preparing to face Vanderbilt, which is his first thoughts on facing the Commodores, and just some other things going on around the program. So we were happy to be able to head to Atlanta and speak with him directly. So let's get right to it, and of course we'll have our thoughts and commentary after we hear from Dell. Enjoy.
Can see it on the field. You can see it how they play the game. They play the game the right way. Both lines of scrimmages, they play with physicality. They're really trying to control the line of scrimmage, and they got a veteran group of seniors, grads, and also juniors. So they got a very experienced group on all three fronts. We're looking forward to the challenge. Everything goes through the quarterback, Pavi, of course. You can see his leadership, his energy. He really drives the entire team. Uh, so we got to do a good job of having a great eye discipline on defense. Um, they kind of morphed into a conventional offense, but they still have triple option elements, read option, power read elements, which is really tough for defense to defend. So we got to definitely have a great game plan and try to keep the game as close as possible and see what happens at the end. With that, I open up for questions.
Yeah, we're here, Coach Sports Inquirer. Uh, we'll just kind of go down the list here. We'll look at the quarterback position. We've seen TJ, we've seen Cameron. Just what's the status of health wise of those guys? I know each of them's kind of dealt with some things physically, and uh, how has it been just trying to handle multiple quarterbacks at this stage of the season, not having an established guy? How difficult has that been?
Well, that's our choice, and I wouldn't say we do have established guys. We got two guys that are established, and they helped us win the football game. So both of them are as healthy as can be right now. And after this game, we'll be on a bye week, a much needed one, with the opponents that we've played. So very pleased with both quarterbacks' progress. Of course, we got to eliminate the interceptions and the turnovers and the penalties overall from a team totality standpoint. But we're going to play both guys, and both guys are going to be needed to play well and execute at a high level. You know, and on the road SEC environment game.
Yeah, and how important is you mentioned just not being pleased with the rushing attack during the season. Look at Murray State, there was some progression in that, led by Rashad, who got his first rushing TD of the season. Where do you think the running game is at this stage, and where are the areas that you just want to see the team get better at?
We just got to play cleaner, not beat ourselves, come off the football, try to create a new line of scrimmage. But we also have to devise a plan that's going to benefit our player skill sets and be a little bit of unpredictable at times and not be too predictable. So, and we definitely got to do that against Vanderbilt because they do a really good job of changing their fronts, bringing run pressures. They'll bring zero pressure at times, so we got to have a plan for that as well. So it'll be all hands on deck to create a run game on Saturday, and that's the plan.
You mentioned defending Pavia and the Vanderbilt offense. Even though they've had some wrinkles and obviously there's change throughout a year, how beneficial is it that you did play them last season? You can only do so many changes, over that amount of time. But how beneficial has that been in preparing for this upcoming contest?
I wouldn't say it's beneficial. It's a new team. They basically they got a lot of guys back, but they also added and upgraded to their roster. That's what makes them even more dangerous than last year. They've upgraded on the O-line, D-line, um, skill guys. I mean, they have three really good receivers, in my opinion. They make you defend the entire field with their offense because of the triple element. But they run pin and pull, inside zone. I mean, zone read. I mean, they do it all. So that's what makes it hard. They shift, they motion, they're in unbalanced sets. So you really got to be dialed in from a mental standpoint. And then you got to play with physicality, and then you got to have great eye discipline. So they present a lot of different problems with their offense. So we got to do a good job on offense, playing complementary football, maximizing our possessions. And when we are in kicking situations, we got to hopefully execute that at a high level as well.
Well, I guess I'll keep going here. But what about defensively? Jordan Huff's been a big contributor, leading team in tackles. But just elaborate a little bit more on you're saying that we've seen them be run based, but they open up the offense a little bit more. Uh, just what challenges does that present just for you, just from a team that you kind of have an idea of what they're going to do, especially with the same quarterback, but now they've kind of expanded a little bit. How challenging is that for you?
Like I say, it's all about the line of scrimmage. They play with good physicality. Their offensive line comes off the ball. Their receivers are very good at perimeter blocking. They block in the run game, and then they have wrinkles off of that. So if you're not disciplined, if you have your eyes in the wrong place, they can create a lot of big explosive plays. So that's the challenge of stopping a team like Vanderbilt. For 4 quarters. Of course, they're going to make some plays, but we got to try to get them kind of off schedule. But they are committed to running the football, and they will sequence a lot to create, shorter third down opportunities, and even on third downs they can run the ball. I mean, they have quarterback draw, they got the sprint draw they hit us with last year that they still have in their offense, and all the rollout dash type plays to get Pavia to give him a run pass option. So, like I said, they got a tough offense. They're upgraded in their positions. Martell Height's a player that comes on offense, and he has our attention when he comes over to offense. He's our starting corner, so he's a two-way player, very good two-way player at that. So, Coach Lee got a lot of respect for him and what he's built over the 5 years, and he's done an outstanding job of getting the right people in the building, and you can see it on the field.
And what about TJ Payton? We've seen him be on a returning kickoffs, but now you're starting to see him get the ball more. I think leads the team in yards per rush. What about developing a true freshman like him? We see so much with the portal of these guys coming in, plug and play. Seems like, but he's really more in that traditional era of a young man that comes straight out of high school into the program. What about his development and just handling guys like that and increasing their contributions throughout a year?
It's all about what they can do, what they can retain, and how they take meetings to practice, and then ultimately practice to the games. He's done a good job with that, but I think a lot of the freshmen that has really stepped up to the plate. Jatavis Flournoy plays a ton for us as a true freshman on the D-line. Keelan Butler plays a ton for us as well. Um, then we also got Grant Hoyer, who's been contributing at the tight end position. So we got some other guys. Kyle Washington at the receiver spot has been a contributor, and his role is going to increase. So as the year goes on and you keep developing and they get used to hearing the system, the words, it just becomes second nature for those guys, and they're better. It's better for them to show off their skill set, and because once you're comfortable with the playbook and the plan, it allows those guys to play faster. But running back a position that running the football doesn't really change. I mean, your run reads and the speed of the game changes a little bit, but that's a position where I don't think age really matters. Receivers another one where you can run, you can run. DJ Avery had opportunity for a big catch against Murray State. He dropped a fade ball, so he's another freshman that's gonna improve as the season goes on, and his number's gonna be called eventually.
Yeah. And here's the last thing for me, just confidence with the team. Just you got to win, and obviously you want to win every game, but those first two losses were difficult. But just a confidence level of the team, or was just a more improved energy you've just noticed now that you've gotten a win and now heading into this Vanderbilt contest?
Yeah, our team's energy hasn't changed from the previous weeks. They come out to work. That's just part of what we're going to demand from our players, and they've been doing exactly what we asked them to do from that standpoint of having energy, having juice, having physical practices on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and I can't ask for anything else. We just got to dial in, be more detailed, and play on the same page, and not play as individuals and play within the schemes of what we're trying to get accomplished.
And that was Dell McGee, head coach of Georgia State football. The Panthers do head up to Nashville to face an undefeated Commodores team that is nationally ranked in the top 20, I believe, or top 25. No, they're in the top 25, but undefeated and coming off of a big road win at South Carolina. You mentioned Pavia, the dynamic dual threat quarterback for Vanderbilt, and really just a tough stretch to start this regular season for the Panthers. Obviously, facing nationally ranked Ole Miss to open the campaign, losing at home to a really solid Memphis program. One of the, I still call it the non-power five, whatever you want to call it, but one of the top non-power five teams in the entire country with the Tigers. Getting a win last week at home against Murray State, some ups and downs there, but still very important to get a win. But now going to Vanderbilt, a team that before the season you just never knew, but now they're undefeated and nationally ranked, and that's going to be a big contest traveling up to Nashville. Just the biggest thing is trying to figure out the quarterback position. We've seen Brown, we've seen Finley play. Christian Veillere, I think, is still lurking as well. And Coach McGee didn't really touch on it completely when I asked him about it. But as far as those are, all three of them have playing time at the collegiate level. But at this stage, you'd like to have only one quarterback and established, and this is the starter. We're going to stick with him throughout the entire year, unless something happens really dramatically. But they're still playing rotation at quarterback, and until you figure that out, that's very, very difficult to perform and compete with. Now, some of that has been due to injury, some of that's just been due to lack of performance. But yeah, not having a consistent quarterback is just very difficult. But some positives for the Panthers, they did show improvement in their rushing attack. From that perspective, so that was good. It's gonna be very tough though going up to Vanderbilt, facing a team that's very physical on both sides of the line and defending that, or facing that and facing the rushing attack of Vanderbilt. I know they've opened up the passing game a little bit more this year, but still, as Coach McGee said, they're very much about establishing the run and using the legs of Pavia and what happens there. So Lord willing, we'll be up there in Nashville. We're trying to make that trip, make it happen. So we'll be able to have some on-field, on-ground coverage of the Panthers as they do head up to Nashville to face Vanderbilt this upcoming Saturday. But even if I'm not able to make it up there, there'll be some post-game analysis, as there always is. So make sure you go to the website, sportsinquirer.net, premier site for news and notes in the world of sports. You can also head to our social media platforms on Twitter/X, Instagram, and Facebook. And finally, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our audio and video hosts, which include YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, and more. Once again, your host, Etienne Marcel Petute. Until next time, good fight, good night, and be safe.